Not regretting your life is easy. Actually, okay, I know what you're thinking. That sounds nuts, right? Almost impossible. But what if the secret isn't about making perfect choices all the time? What if it's really about just changing our entire approach to how we live? That's what we're going to dive into.
You ever just feel completely overwhelmed by all the life advice out there? I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? Self-help books, motivational speakers, social media. It can feel like you're drowning in a sea of conflicting instructions. But here's the thing. What if most of that advice is fundamentally flawed?
There's this fantastic analogy that just hits the nail on the head. Trying to live your life based on someone else's advice is kind of like learning to tie a tie by watching them do it.
Think about it. When you watch them, everything's a mirror image. It's backwards. You can't see the little details, the tiny movements of their fingers, and most importantly, it's not your hands doing the work. You're not building the muscle memory. And that's the point, right? True learning and true living, it comes from direct hands-on experience.
So, let's start there. Let's really dig into the problem with most life advice and talk about why just watching from the sidelines is, well, a pretty terrible strategy for living a life you won't regret.
Let's think for a second. What is the biggest, most common, most famous piece of life advice out there? It's on posters, it's in every single graduation speech. You absolutely know the one I'm talking about.
Yep, follow your dreams. It is the ultimate cliché. But is it actually good advice? Let's take it apart and see when it might be helpful and when it can be downright harmful.
So, check out this comparison, a tale of two paths. On one side, you have the dream path. Let's say your dream is to be an NBA player, but you're 5'8". The odds are, let's be honest, astronomical, 1 in a million. You risk career-ending injury, you give up a stable income, it's a huge gamble. Then on the other side, you have the skill path. Maybe you're naturally talented at physics. You leverage that talent. It might not seem as glamorous, but the probability of a stable, happy, and successful life, it's just so much higher.
So here's the crucial part. It is not about dreams being good or bad. It's about self-awareness. It is your job, and your job alone, to figure out where you are on this line. You've got to be honest with yourself about your talents, your circumstances, and which path really, truly makes the most sense for you.
So if follow your dreams isn't always the best advice, then what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to a completely different philosophy. Let's call it the do more life principle. And to really understand this, we've got to talk about the story of Randy Pausch. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon who, after getting a terminal cancer diagnosis, gave this now legendary last lecture all about achieving his childhood dreams.
And here was the key difference. He didn't have one big, vague, all-consuming dream. Nope. He had a list, a very specific list. He had 6 very different childhood dreams that he was determined to accomplish.
And what's so incredible is that he managed to achieve, or at least experience, all of them. And they were all over the place. Some were big and seemed impossible, like floating in zero gravity. Others were more achievable, like becoming a Disney Imagineer. He didn't just wish for them. He went out and actively found ways to make them real.
And this right here is the absolute core of the do more life principle. Success is a skill. It builds on itself. The more you do, the more you achieve, the more capable you become. It's all about building momentum through action, not just sitting around and waiting for some grand passion to strike you like lightning.
So this leads us to another huge source of anxiety for people, this pressure to pick the one thing, that single, perfect career. But let's talk about why that whole idea is pretty much a myth.
You know, the advice we get about our career so often feels like we're being handed this ridiculously oversimplified 2-step instruction manual for life.
It's like that old how to draw an owl meme. You've seen it, right? Step 1, draw 2 circles. Step 2, draw the rest of the owl. It's hilarious because it perfectly captures what most generic career advice feels like. It just completely skips over all the messy, complicated, and, important details.
But here's the reality check. Life is not a single track. In reality, you can do an infinite number of things at any given time. Even if you are deep into an established career, say you're a doctor with a mountain of student debt, you can still start a YouTube channel. You are never, ever locked into just one thing. There are always endless possibilities.
So the key is to reframe the question. Stop asking that huge, overwhelming, paralyzing question, what should I do with my life? Instead, ask yourself something much more manageable, much more empowering. Of all the things I could do today, what do I want to do? This simple switch shifts your focus from abstract anxiety to concrete, immediate action.
So if the goal is to focus on what you can do today, let's wrap all this up with 2 incredibly simple, practical habits. These aren't about grand life plans. They are simple gifts that you can give to the person you're going to be in the future.
Seriously, think of this as a present for your future self. These are small actions with delayed but massive benefits. They're an investment in the health and happiness of the older you.
So here they are. 2 simple habits. Number 1, floss and wear sunscreen. The principle is simple. Do the small, boring things now that prevent huge problems later. And number 2, keep an ongoing memoir.
Now, hold on. This is not a Dear Diary situation. You do not have to write every day. A memoir, in this sense, is just a running list of the significant things you do, the places you go, the cool stuff that happens. It's like your life's highlight reel, a way to actually see your progress bar filling up over time.
And getting started could not be easier. It doesn't need to be some fancy leather-bound book. It can literally just be a Google Doc with a really boring title that nobody knows about but you. The barrier to entry is basically 0.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the grand 5-year plan for just a moment. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one single, achievable thing you can do today to start doing more life and filling up that progress bar?